Hello guys, as you can see from the title, I want to talk to you about the series called Throne of Glass, and particularly about the first book because this is what I read yesterday. I finished it like in 2 days. It's amazing. I've had this series on my shelf for a while, I mean like 3 books, and I didn't really want to start it because I wanted to wait till all the books come out, but then I realized that I just can't. I can't wait. I needed to read this series. Firstly, probably because a whole community on BookTube has probably read it already, and most of the people I watch loved it, just like adored this book, and I couldn't wait more. And the last drop was that Jesse the Reader, he had this video talking Q&A with Sarah J. Maas, and they were talking about the characters, and I realized I have no idea who they're talking about, and I was just, I need to read this book, okay? I know I'm gonna love it, I just need to read it. So I finally read it, and guys, boy did I love this book. It's so good, really guys. It's basically about this girl, Selena Sardothian. She's the most notorious assassin in land, she's the best, but she got caught. Was sent to this death camps in salt mines, I think, and she was working like crazy. She was basically a slave. After a year spent there, she gets a suggestion that she can try and win this competition the King's is running to become the King's personal assassin, or she can rot there forever or just die. So she accepts the offer coming from the Crown Prince. That's it. Basically, just they have 23 participants, and she's one of them, and so she needs to take part in this competition to win all of them to become a King's personal assassin. That's basically all for non-spoilery section, because after that I just really want to discuss this book with someone. Nobody around me read this book, probably because I live in Russia and it's not so popular here. It's crazy, guys. I just really need to talk to someone to express all my feelings, because I had so many feelings, guys. I'm crying right now. I don't know if you can see, but I'm crying. This is ridiculous how much I love this book, okay? We're coming to spoilers now, so if you haven't read this book, go read it and then you can join me in discussion. So, first I want to talk to you about characters, especially 3 main characters. So, the first one, obviously, Selena Sardothian. She's such an awesome character. For the first, she is an amazing assassin, and like we know, it's a fact, it's stated in this book. She is awesome, she's a kick-ass character and just amazing, but she's a girl. She's like 18 years old, and she's a girl, and she likes girly stuff. Like that made me like her even more, because she likes dresses and like makeup. It was just so cool seeing this awesome, like strong character still being herself and loving all those girly things. And her passion of reading was just like, yes, Selena, oh my god, you're my idol. Like, she's really good, she likes reading and all that, and she's funny, and she's like a smartass kind of in a way. The first scene we see her, she's being led to meet the prince. She doesn't know that, and she thinks she's being led to her death, basically, and that's not true, but she's being herself. She's frightened as hell. That's the other quality I like, that she can be really frightened of something, and she's not ashamed of it. She doesn't hide it or anything. I mean, she's trying to hide it, of course, not to show her fear, but author tells us that she can be frightened like a little kitten. Like, there are some moments when she feels so small and just so frightened and just want to run away, and that's amazing. So about the first scene, she's led to see the prince, and she's being such a smartass. Like, she's not afraid to show her character and temper, because she knows that things can't get any worse. Like, she's in the worst situation possible. The second character we are introduced to is Kale. His name confused me so much in the beginning when he introduced himself that in my head I called him Chol for several chapters. Probably I called him I knew it wasn't right. I knew it, but I couldn't do anything and just called him Chol. I know it's weird, but so after I read how his name is actually pronounced, and I was like, oh, it's Kale. Oh, okay. I think I liked Kale from the very beginning. Like, he was really awesome. He's a strong character. He's very professional. He's the captain of the guard, of the King's Guard. He's very young. He's like 22, I think. But, oh boy, is he wonderful or what? Like, he can be such a puppy sometimes. I don't know why, but he reminds me of Puppy, though he's very, very strong-tempered. So Kale is very, very disciplined, and he doesn't really show his feelings that much, but you still get to know him in a way. He doesn't really talk about him that much, so you're not really familiar with his past and all, but he can be compassionate when he needs to, and he's just so wonderful and adorable, and I just love, he's so my type. Like, I adore Kale through the whole book, and when in the middle of the book he wasn't really there, I missed him like crazy. And then there's the third main character, which is Crown Prince Dorian. Now let me tell you, I liked him from the very beginning. Like, he's also sassy, kinda. He's childish in a way, because he's only 19 years old, and yes, he's a crown prince, but he's a boy, and he's basically a womanizer. He knows he's a prince. This is, I can appreciate that. Like, there were some moments when he could have done something stupid, and he's not allowed to do that because he's a prince and he knows it, and he can't do anything whether you like it or not. He's a prince and he needs to support his reputation, and also he's kind of afraid of his father because his father is a douchebag. I'm sorry, but well, he is a jerk, really a big jerk, and he's kind of afraid of him and doesn't want to really stand on his way, and he knows that whatever he says, his father will still do things his own way. He doesn't really need to oppose him because there is like no point in that, and he would be just jeopardizing himself. So yeah, I respected that. I appreciated that. The most adorable part in him that he's a book lover and a dog lover, and when he actually talks about books, and then he gives Selena this pile of books from his own library. It is just so sweet. They didn't even talk before that. During their whole trip to the castle, they didn't really talk. But then he sends her books, and it's just an adorable moment. I also loved the moment where it was a duel at the end, like, you know, almost the very end, and he saw Selena got beaten up so hard and he couldn't do anything, and I was like, on the one hand, I was like, do something. She's gonna get killed because she's been drugged and she can't really fight this man Kane, and just it was just so much. But I understand that he's a prince, and he also understands that he's a prince, and also if he says something to his father, even about Selena being drugged, she will be probably disqualified from this competition, from this duel, and he couldn't do that, but he was so sorry after, like, I'm sorry, I couldn't do anything, I'm sorry. She was like so understanding about it. I just loved this moment. Next, I want to talk to you about the love triangle that was developing in this book. Throughout the whole book, I just couldn't decide whom I liked best. Kale or Dorian. It was such a hard decision. One moment when you think, yes, Kale's so awesome, he's so good, and then Dorian does something really cute, and you're like, oh my god, I still cannot decide. Like, right now, I've read it yesterday, so I pretty much slept on it, and I still cannot decide whom I like best with Selena. I mean, I probably a little bit more. I probably am for Dorian with Selena, but I love Kale more as a character, as a person. I just love him more. I can't say I'm Team Dorian or Team Kale because I kind of like this whole friendship between Kale and Selena, and I don't really want them to be in romantic relationships. But Gale is so dear to my heart. But with Selena, I probably prefer Dorian for now because he says that he loves her. Like, he basically says, well, he doesn't say it, he thinks that he loves her and he wants to protect her no matter what his father said. Oh, all the feels! It was really hard to read for me in the end when she decided to break up with Dorian. I kind of understand her motives because she won the competition, she won the duel, and she wants to be free. So in 4 years from now, she will be free. She will be a free woman, and I know it's kind of selfish, but she never was actually free. When she was a child, this king of assassins, he took her and he raised her and basically made her the best assassin in all the land. Then she was for a whole year, she was 17 when she got there. For a whole year, she was in a death camp. She was basically a slave. She was probably going to die. So, she was never actually free, and she wants to be free, and she doesn't want to get attached to Dorian because she knows she likes him, and she kind of wants him, but she doesn't want to get attached because she wants to be free. She knows she's gonna run away after these 4 years and never come back. Even though I can understand her, I still want her to be with Dorian so much because they're such a sweet couple, and it's just so wonderful, and I love them, and just, oh. Let's just talk about Selena being an assassin. When this competition started, she was kind of trained by Kale, and he said her not to be the best. She is the best. How it's probably really hard to stay in the middle and not to show off, because she knows she's the best, and she's like, why should I hold myself back? Why should I do that? Why can't I just be the best in everything? And he's like, are you stupid or what? Do you want them all to know that you're Selena Sardathian? The first competition was archery. Yeah, I think it was archery. I was disappointed in a way, but it was archery because it's nothing special. I expected something like grand and just awesome, but when it was really awesome when there were 5 aims, I think, and she kinda on purpose missed the bullseye. Like, she missed to the right, to the left, and all that, but on the furthest one, on the 5th one, she actually hit the bullseye, and I was like, yeah, like, she's so good. The second competition, I also really adored the second competition because it was climbing the wall to get the flag. I think it was 19 feet above the ground, 90 feet above the ground or something, and she took the hardest path, well, at least not the easiest path, which most competitors took. And she was going to be the first to catch this damn flag and go back, but then there's one murderer or assassin, I don't remember his name, Grave, I think, or something. He was going to purposely kill other man, Knox, which Selena kinda had a bond with him. She kind of trained him, and they were like training together, and they didn't become friends, maybe nice pals, I guess. And when she saw that this Grave was going to kill Knox, she didn't even really think of that. She just plummeted down and she just saved him. He saved his ass. And she came to this spot where the flag was. Not the last, but she came 18. Next one, after her Knox, came probably the last. Or I didn't really get it, but she came 18. Like, she could have been the first. And she still saved him, and it was really nice because I liked Knox as a character. And it was, I think, the third competition with poisons, and even though it was kind of slow and nothing really happened during this competition, I think it was one of my favorite. I don't know why, but just Selena dealing with poisons, and she basically needed to, she had this 7 vials, and she needed to put them from the most dangerous one to the least dangerous one, and she needed to drink the least dangerous one, which she chose. If she was wrong, she was basically going to be poisoned. They had the antidote, but still, it could have gone bad. And just before that, she had a dream or just a talk with this Queen Helena, I don't know, and she told her to look at her right. So Selena decides to look at her right, like Helena told her to, and she sees this young boy assassin, and his specialty is poisons. And she remembers that because he told that on the first day of the competition. She remembered that, and he basically gave her a clue, and even though she cheated, it was kind of a nice moment. Like, he helped her, and it was just nice. Next competition, I think, were kind of duel or some just sparring. So she had to fight this jerk, I'm really bad with names of the secondary characters. I don't remember his name. And that was an epic moment because she didn't even draw her sword out. She was like, she hit him, then she kicked him out of this talk ring, and she came to this, their instructor, weapon master or something, and he told her, like, give me a real man, and maybe I'll bother trying. That was such badass moment. Like, I really liked this moment. I was like, yeah, you go, girl, you know. I think even Kale kind of supported her, and he didn't even, like, scolded her or anything. He was just like, yeah, that's my girl. Now, let's talk about this Queen Helena. I really enjoyed her story. Her coming to Selena first in a dream. And she tells Selena that Selena needs to be this personal king's assassin. And though she's kind of being rude, I mean, Selena is kind of being rude, like, I know, right, my life depends on it, and I'm still gonna be king's personal assassin. You kind of realize that Selena is destined to do something major, something big, and that this queen from, like, thousands years old, like, she's dead. But it's so awesome that she kind of helps her to deal with it. And she also tells her that she needs to destroy this evil in the castle, like the major evil. And Selena is guessing what's going on. And this evil is basically linked to the... Well, I guessed that it was linked to the murders of those competitors. And I didn't know what was going on. I think I was the stupidest one. Because I've watched some reviews and book talks, and everybody guessed who it was, like, in the beginning, or at least had their guess. I didn't even think about the guess, like, I didn't even care. I was so much into it, I didn't bother guessing. I was just, like, reading, and I didn't know it was Kate, who summoned this creature, and this creature basically ate all the inner organs of this person, and that was horrible. Like, Sarah J. Maas wrote in details what the body looked like after the assault, and I was like, what? I know I love those kind of scenes, and I love horror movies and horror books and stuff, so I wasn't shocked, but for this book, it was kind of maybe too graphic, but I liked it. I really liked it. So Selena is trying to find out who's behind all those assaults and murders, and she has this guess, and she doesn't say anything to Kale. She has her reasons, but still, I think Kale would understand her maybe, but maybe not. He was suspicious throughout the whole book about her, so maybe she did the right choice. But still, like, I was like, tell Kale, he's a puppy, he'll understand you. It probably was just my love for Kale talking inside me, and maybe she did the right choice. She suspected her newly friend, Princess Nehemia, I think her name is pronounced, Nehemia. I liked Nehemia from the very beginning. I knew she was hiding something when they were talking about this word signs, whatever, around this clock tower. I don't remember. I can't remember all those horrible words in another language. So yeah, about those symbols basically. I knew she knew something, but I never really suspected her being guilty in those assaults. And when Selena was trying to figure everything out, and she was kind of stalking Nehemia on the ball, so yeah, I was like, Selena, what are you doing? You have one and only friend, and I understand you didn't have a lot of friends when you were younger, and like a lot of friends, as far as I understood, betrayed her or something. But like Nehemia, no, she's just so nice. She's too nice to do that. She wasn't the evil guy. It was Cain, and I didn't really suspected him. Like, for me, I missed the part when he was growing bigger and stronger. I just thought it was training. It's like I didn't connect it to all those murders. Somebody in this book basically told that rituals help you to gain strength of the person you murder. I totally missed that. I wasn't really shocked because he was a douchebag, and it was kind of expectable, I guess, but I just didn't pay attention. So, okay. He was murdered. Whatever. The ball scene. Firstly, I love all those dress talks, like when she was describing her gowns and dresses, and I was like, oh my god, I can't imagine, you look so beautiful. When she came, Dorian basically said or thought that she made her dress out of stars. Like, she pulled down those stars from the sky and made her dress. Like, it was this beautiful. She was beautiful. And this moment when Kale came up to her and just dragged her away and started to scold her, I was like, come on, Kale, just ask her to dance with you. Just don't be so harsh on her. She never attends anything. She's not allowed to attend any balls or feasts or just parties, and just dance with her. But he was standing there, and I kind of understood he didn't want to draw any attention to them, because then people would know who she is, probably, or at least notice her, and it was something he didn't want to happen. But I wanted them to dance so much, even though I don't support their romantic relationship, and I guess I'm not Team Kale for Selena. I'm Team Kale for myself, if that's possible, because he's so my type. I still wanted them to dance, at least as friends. And he actually, I think he wanted her to dance with her, but he just couldn't, because it was his duty to guard her, and he was the captain of the guard, and she was an assassin, and all that, and it just, it didn't happen. So, Dorian and Selena dancing, it was just such a beautiful moment. They were basically dancing throughout the whole ball, throughout the whole event. They didn't change their partners, and Selena was happy for a moment. She was laughing, and she was just enjoying Dorian, dancing with Dorian and herself. I really enjoyed reading about them. They were so beautiful. And then she kind of ran away when he went to get some drinks, and then she comes to her chambers and he's already there. The moment when she didn't allow him to kiss her, but at the end she just gave up and they kissed again, and then he left. I was fangirling so hard. Like, so hard, guys. You know when I have those strong feelings, fangirl feelings, I start crying, like I do now? This is ridiculous how much I love fictional characters. I don't love people, as many people as I love fictional characters. And this moment when she sends him away and she goes to the balcony and she just watches the stars and she's so happy and her spirit is up, and under the balcony, Kale is standing there and watching her, and like he knows that something happened between her and Dorian because she's so happy, and I think she was red and just like shy and all, and he knows that something's up. And there was this sentence that she never looked down. I think it was after the ball. I'm not sure, but it was after one of the moments with Dorian, and so she never looks down, and he's down there, and like my heart was ripping to pieces because at this very moment you understand that Kale really likes her, and he can't really do anything, and he's kind of struggling against it because he doesn't want to get attached to this assassin, and he still suspects her in many ways. He's trying to keep Dorian away, but now not only because she's an assassin, but because he's kind of jealous. And it's just like, oh, Kale, come here, I'll hug you and never let you go. Also, moments when Selena and Kale had lunches together and breakfast together, and they kind of nudged her, and those rare moments when they laughed together, it was so precious. But the very conversation I remember is when she decided to tell him a little bit about her past, and he asked her about the scar on her right hand, and like we realized that that king of assassins is not a good guy who just took this girl and decided to raise her. No, he is cruel. He's really cruel because he basically says to her that she doesn't know how to handle a sword with a left hand, and so she gives her a choice. He will break her right hand, or she will do it herself. Like what? She's 12, and she needs to do that, because otherwise he'll do it. And in any way, her hand needs to be broken. And I was thinking, like, why not just tie it behind her back? Or why not just do something like that? No, she needs to fucking break her hand. She's a child. She's a motherfucking child. And so she slams the door on her right hand and she breaks her bones, and there's a big scar. It's horrible. When I imagined it, I was like, what? Selena! Poor Selena! And actually Kale is shocked. Like, he's shocked. And she was like, I bet this weapon master never made you do that. And he was like, no. Actually, talking about Selena's scars, she has so much scars already, especially those 3 horrible scars on her back. I think the first day she came to the salt mines, end of year, this death camp, she was hit with this shit, I don't remember the name. So she was basically hit on her back 21 times or something like that, and she has 3 horrible scars. And when this woman in this death camp tries to help her and gives her some bandages or medicine or something like that, she wouldn't bleed and she wouldn't get infected. This woman was raped and killed by the guards. Like, what? She only tried to help this girl, 17-year-old girl. 17. Also, there was a sentence by Kale that she went through so much, she has so many scars, she has been a year in this death camp, and she still can laugh. It's a 400 pages book, and I read it in 2 days. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to put it down and, take it slow and just enjoy the book. And I was like, one more chapter. Okay, one more chapter. Okay, maybe one more chapter. And I finished it yesterday. And I was like, oh well. Book is basically, you either love it or you hate it. Like, there are two options. And I know some YouTubers who didn't finish it, or just people who didn't like it. Like, I've seen those people on Goodreads. But I enjoyed it. It was a good book, very interesting, very gripping, you know, it got my attention from pretty much the first chapter, and I never wanted to actually put it down, and just, I can sleep with this book, like with a bear. Like, I would hug it and just sleep with it, because it's so good. I can't hold myself, like I'm watching On the Crown of Midnight every day, because my shelf is basically in front of me on my bed, and so I watch at it every day, every moment, and I'm like, maybe I should read it now, maybe I shouldn't wait, and then I'm like, no, you can't, because you'll still have to wait for the fourth book to come out, and then a year for the fifth book, and then another year to the sixth book. I don't know how I'm gonna survive that. So yeah, that was basically all my thoughts about this book. Happy I shared them with you, at least with someone I could share them. So yeah, you can post your thoughts down below. I'll read them. I really want to discuss this book with someone. So if you have similar or even different opinion, you just should comment down below. I will be happy to read it. And thank you guys for watching. Bye!